Kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, someone needs to talk to his parents if they're ever home. What is it with traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. Give me some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's. Oh, okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Sure, take the spot. Way to be considered. Oh, you kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, man.
About time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, any guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookies. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookies.
Thank you so much. What can I get for you? Yeah, that's all decaf macchiato. Yeah, sure, no problem. $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Waited again. Unbelievable. What? What is that? What in the world? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't.
Your coffee, sir.
I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, what?
Sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
That jokes you out, right? So I want to talk about the opposites of love. And because my Buddhist friends are here, I associate with that narrative. I have a little problem with opposites because of the implication of a duality. But let's read this. Love is the unique power that bindeth together the diverse elements of this material world, the supreme magnetic force that directeth the movements of the spheres in the celestial realms. Love is the spirit of light unto the adorned body of humankind. That's from the Baha'i faith. So this reminds me of, I want to talk about what love is before I talk about what love isn't. What does that remind you of? The magnetic force that binded things together in the spheres and their orbits and so on? Reminds me of gravity, right? So let's talk about what love is before we can talk about maybe what it isn't. All right, so according to that quote, and in general, it's conducive to unity and connection. So anything that is not producing unity and connection may not be coming from a source of love. Here's one we want to look at. Love, this is a philosophy of a way of looking at the world. Instead of love is either or, it's this or that. Love looks at the world as and both. We're going to talk more about that. That's an important one. Okay, this thing about change. Love embraces change and it sustains through change. We're going to unpack that a little more. And it's trustworthy. You can count on it. It's there for you. It's not unfaithful. We're going to look at that deeper. And finally, think about this. It's a decision, right? All right, now let's take a look at what I prefer to call the barriers to love. Not the opposites, but the barriers. The first one I want to look at, see the little icon with the chain and it's broken between the two people, right, is disconnection. So, this is manifest, as we spoke on Sunday, if y'all were there, manifest by judgment, blame, and criticism. Certain language that we use that manifests as judgment, blame, and criticism, and I want to give you a scenario. Your boss yells at you. Now, would Shantae like to do this with me, please? Would you like me to do this? She can do it. Okay, so we're going to do a little scenario of when the boss yells at you. Can you pick a mic on the stand right there? Now I'm going to ask you a question. When the boss yells at you and you respond with a statement of blame, criticism, or judgment of the other person, in this case the boss, how would you respond from that position?
I never had that situation. Well, why? It's your fault. You weren't here on time.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't get it done.
Survey says you're a jerk. Good, okay, you got the idea. It's your fault, you did it, you didn't get it on time. Okay, the next response is blame yourself. The boss yells at you, what would you say if you blamed yourself?
Oh my God, at home it's just terrible. I just can't concentrate.
Okay, survey says, I'm worthless, I can't. Exactly, I can't. I shouldn't have anything. If you use the word should, you're in that zone. Got it? All right, I shouldn't have. I blame myself. Now, I want to talk about the next step, Shantae, and that is a struggle for connection. And in the struggle for connection, I want to see if you could find, in a situation where the boss yelled at you, what are your feelings and needs in that moment?
Can you tell me what it is that you wanted? Then I could have maybe met the timeline project.
Excellent. Okay, survey says, I feel confused, I need clarity. Exactly what you said, yes. Connecting with your own feelings and needs in that moment. That is one step towards reaching out for connection. Got that? All right. Now I'm going to go one step further. And this is where the magic happens. And that is to suppose, because you can't know for sure, what the other person's feelings and needs are. So I like to start from the phrase, sounds like. Sounds like you feel or you need. What would you say if your boss yelled at you, trying to connect with their feelings and needs?
It sounds like this is somebody else's issue. How can I help you meet your boss's needs?
Okay. All right, survey says you feel frustrated, maybe because your boss is holding you accountable, and you need support because your boss asked something from you. Very good. Thank you. Give her a hand. And the result is greater connection. So that is when you see disconnection. This is a process to consider for connection. Sorry, what's happening? Oh, that's annoying. Barriers to love, either or thinking. Now, this can manifest as opinions, beliefs, what you're loyal to, and we're going to look at this a little more closely. I love what Reverend John said last week. We believe in a theology of choice. But in that choice, we have boundaries. And the magic in the boundaries is figuring out where our freedom ends and someone else's freedom begins. Because that's when we get messed up as a barrier to love, when we step into someone else's freedom with our either or thinking. Well, it has to be this or that. That makes sense? What else we got? All right, I want to tell you an example of this. KKK came to town in 1999. I was there with a 4-year-old daughter. We organized, I was part of a team that organized a unity rally where we would be somewhere else marching for unity while the KKK was coming into the square with their megaphones to talk. But there's this one group who volunteered to stand as a corridor from the bus door all the way to the square where the KKK would talk and guard their bodies from people who were trying to attack them and throw things at them. I've always wondered all my life if I could do that and be in that corridor of people. I never got a chance to know. I had a 4-year-old daughter. Couldn't make that choice. But that is someone that's looking at what they stand for, where my freedom ends and yours begins, and they decided that yours begins with the right to talk or speak, and I'm going to protect that right because someone else's freedom does not extend to hurting you physically. It was powerful. I ponder it, and I'll ponder it the rest of my days if I could have stood in that group of people. So I uphold what is real and true for you and what is real and true for me. And that's why those people could stand in that line and protect them. I have one caveat as a teacher of young children. You can't give children infinite choice. Or there's no infinite choice anyway, but you've got to limit choice for children. So I want to say, instead of giving children a choice between apples and cocaine, let's give them a choice between apples and oranges. So I say to them, I'm the safe keeper, and it's my job to keep you safe, period. When it comes to safety, that is the hill I die on for you. But we give them choices they can handle. I had to say that? All right. This is a phrase from my mother. She always says, I get behind their eyes. I see behind their eyes, where they're coming from. Okay? So, this is from a lady who was in concentration camp in World War II. And, abused there, but was able to survive it. And she said, I'm not easily frightened, but not because I'm brave, but because I know I'm dealing with human beings. That's all. And I must try as hard as I can to understand everything that anyone ever does. So her work was to get behind their eyes. So, here's another barrier to love, stasis. You know what that means? Nothing ever changes, it always stays the same. I'm safe there where it stays the same. This is the rock, the hill I'm going to live and die on. I'm not going to budge from this. That's a barrier to love. Because if you look at relationships, they just don't happen that way. Let's take a look. Parent-child relationships. Oh my gosh, you treated your child the same way you treat them when they were 4. You're going to run into trouble when they're 14. Life partners. It's got to evolve, people. You may evolve. They may evolve in a different way. What's going to sustain you through it? It's going to change. Faith communities change. They do. Nothing is the same. This church was not the same as it was 15 years ago. It can't be expected to stay the same, and neither can nations. They rise and fall, right? Including our home here. So I uphold pulled you toward your destiny or purpose, and I have pulled you toward my destiny and my purpose. Because one thing you can count on, everything changes. Now another barrier to love, this ambivalence. Oh my gosh, I have a book for you. It's called Wired for Love, and it's about relationships and partnerships. And some people, and the poison in this, the barrier to love here is ambivalence. Ambivalence, I want us to talk about this because it's where someone reaches out and says they want love, but when it comes to them, they pull back for fear or whatever. And I'm talking about that because I've experienced that myself. And love stands open and says yes. It doesn't say, maybe yes, no, I don't know, oh my gosh, I'm going to do. It's there. It says yes and it's there. So, uncommitted and unfaithful. Now here's the thing. I want to talk about this. Love is not committed to just your highest good. Not just committed to my highest good. It's committed to the highest good of all. So when you think about relationships where there may have been unfaithfulness, you got to think, if that person was unfaithful to me, what is that saying about the relationship? And should I stay in the relationship or move on? Now, I want to talk about forgiveness. Because if you choose to forgive someone, I've got this definition that I've lived with for a long time. It's called, what is forgiveness? To give as before the event that occurred, that broke the relationship. Now look, if someone's unfaithful to you and you think, I need to forgive them, and can I give to them as before the event, you may decide, yes, for that event I can forgive. But in the highest good of all, we may need to think about that for your good and for my good, maybe this relationship isn't going to work out together and it may need to separate. You may decide, no, this relationship does need to move together. So it doesn't bind you unconditionally to someone. It has you look at the highest good of all and then forgiving, to give as before the event, and then decide the highest good of all. Okay, so I just want to say often this is clouded by your own unmet needs and past hurts. When you look at broken relationships, when there's distrust. So even though you may love the person, you may be speaking out of space of, hurts and unmet needs. So I want to introduce you to this book, Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. Do I have permission to plug what might happen in April?
Sure.
So we're going to be leading a workshop on this twice a month on how to use this language, just like I've been using it with you today. It comes from this book, Nonviolent Communication. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's called the Offner dance. Offner stands for, the O is for observe the problem behavior. You don't observe the behavior like he acted like a jerk to me. That doesn't describe really how he acted. His voice was raised, he was sweating, his eyes closed, Make it very concrete. That's the first step, is observe. That kind of separates you from your reactivity like he was acting as a jerk, right? Just observe it as if you're writing a police sketch of what just happened. Acknowledge you have feelings about it, right? And talk to yourself. These don't have to be things you say out loud, but you've got to get in touch with. You can have feelings about it. It's okay. I feel upset, frustrated, angry, betrayed, whatever it is. I feel like this is a place where a lot of women fall short. They can see what other people feel, but they don't always see what they feel. I want to invite you, if you ever want to know, put your hand right about here and close your eyes. And say, what do I feel? Tell me. Tell me what I feel. And in this workshop, we're going to examine ways to look at how our bodies are telling us how we're feeling. The N is for needs. Identify your needs. Just like I did with Shantae, feelings and needs. What do I need here? I need security. I need trust. I need safety. I need clarity. We're going to look at all the need language words. We have a whole list we're going to examine. And then the answer to it all is R. Boop. Make a request. I would like you to, I need. This is when you speak it to the universe, to the person that you're in conflict with, to yourself, to your higher power, to your inner voice, whatever it is. This is where you can make a request to make things better for you. We call that the Offner Dance, and that's what we're going to be doing at that workshop. All right. All right, it's your decision. It's counterintuitive. Your brain is designed for protecting yourself and looking for danger. And that's why you have to engage this part of your brain. Remember? Remember this? The brain stem, the emotional brain, the rational brain. And when you're in a state, an emotional state or an insecure state, you flip your lid. You don't engage your rational brain. That's why we sing, love is a conscious, deliberate decision. It's counteracting lots of things. Past hurts, unmet needs, right? Fears. And so we want to engage it right here. Love is a decision. Now, what I want you to do is, please take the hand of your neighbor if you're willing. One on each side of you. There may be one. I'm just inviting you to do this, please, and pray with me. Take a deep breath and sit in your seat. And we're going to pray these words together. We can say them together. It goes like this. The serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And what I want you to see about that is there are 3 decisions that are made there in that prayer. A decision to accept, a decision to change, and a decision to know. Now, what do you